good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching the webinar. I am Cindy Chen Phillips, registered dietitian, and I'm also a nutrition coach at Cindy Chen Phillips Nutrition that I founded. I'm so happy to be here to share this time with you, to help you to talk about how to talk to patients on eating healthy when you only have 5 minutes. So I'm going to have use some slides. But there's so many ways that you can connect with me. If you have a thought or a comment or question after the webinar, feel free to reach out to me at cindy@cindychanphillips.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram at cindyphillipsrd as well. We'd love for you to follow me there. And I am joining you from my home in upstate New York. So I'd love to know where you're joining me from. I know somewhere in Virginia, but I'd love to know. All right, let's get started. Majority of Americans think that it is harder to eat healthy than doing their own tax, right? Can you identify with that? Every year after New Year, when you walk into Barnes and Nobles, and you will know what is the diet of the trend this year by looking at what books they display on the table when you walk into the bookstore. So this is why it is kind of hard for people. It is hard for people to stick to a healthy diet practice. And it's confusing for a lot of people as well. Whenever I am at a medical conference, I'm always in awe of the dedication to patient care. I hear that in the hallway, I hear that in a conversation among providers like yourself. So this is me in Manhattan, Times Square. Obviously, it's before pandemic. You can see that nobody wore a mask. It's about, I think, early 2019. I was part of a leadership. I was invited to ring the closing bell of the NASDAQ stock exchange. And here I am, my image projected onto that multiple story building, larger than life. But I was hiding something in there. I remember that day we were learning how to help patients lose weight. As part of the therapy, we were taught to restrict calories, to count calories. So if chicken breast is better than chicken thigh in fewer calories, then chicken breast without the skin, skinless chicken breast would be better, right? In fact, steamed, skinless chicken breast would be even better because it's even lower in calories. So I was competitive just like anybody else, and I wanted to be taken seriously. So I could do this menu planning like nobody's business. I can include skinless steamed chicken breast and always make the number at the end, the number that I want it to be. But in all that while, there was a conflict growing in my mind. Nobody eats like that. Because I was born in Hong Kong, raised around traditional Chinese medicine view of health. Food is just not viewed like that. It's more than just a number. So I no longer talk about calories with my patients, with my clients, because it's not helping them. So that is my why of me here having this conversation with you. So this webinar is for you if your patients ask you if they should go on to the South Beach diet, the keto diet, or the whole 360, or any trendy diet. Or B, compliance with your lifestyle therapy is very low, much lower than your pharma therapy. Or C, you are uncomfortable talking about diet. Don't blame you at all, because lifestyle therapy has to be done even earlier and earlier in the patient doctor-provider relationship. So I want to be here to help you talk about eating healthy with your patients, even when you have 5 minutes or less, because in doing so, you can help your patients build that gradual success to healthy eating. And you can engage in clear and practical conversation, knowing that it's backed by science and research on healthy eating. That's easy to remember, easy to implement. And you can guide your patients with diverse preferences, diverse cultural preferences to healthy eating habits that last. That's an important thing. So I hope that's okay with you. Disclosure. I'm on the Nutrition Speaker Bureau from National Cattlemen Beef Association, and I also provide nutrition consulting services for the Beef Checkoff, and Beef Checkoff is a sponsor of this webinar, so I'm very, very grateful for them to facilitate so that we can have this conversation today. And both of these organizations are nonprofit. So I hope we're doing fine so far. In fact, when I ask you about the A, B, and C, whether your patients ask you about whether they go on to any one of the trendy diets, or your compliance is low with lifestyle therapy, and C, you're uncomfortable talking about diet, I know this is recorded, but I like to know. So if you have a way to access the chat box, open up the chat box, type that in. I think MSV would like to know, I would like to know. So love for you to chat in. We read the comments. So when your aim is for building healthy eating habit that last, even small shifts can lead to big results, because small shifts make our clients, our patients feel that it's within their reach. They can start doing that today instead of big, awesome, hairy goals that they say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Big shifts, small shifts can lead to big results. It is like the small hinges that swing the big door, right? And when you have a clear and practical conversation that you can have with your client, it's repeatable for you as well. And it's easy to implement for your patients. Right? Now, some clients, some patients, they do very well with, give me the big goal. I'm going to do 76. That's one newer diet. It's called 76 hard or 75 hard. You have to do a lot of hard things for 75 days straight. Some people gravitate towards that. But majority of everyday American, we want to be able to start doing something that is built around what they are doing and built around what they like. So they have a higher success rate because they start building the momentum. And then also make them increase the self-efficacy. If you think about self-efficacy, is a person's belief that they can succeed, that they have the ability to succeed in a certain situation. That's very, very key in having our clients and our patients achieve the outcome if they feel that they can do that, the self-efficacy. So research have shown that higher self-efficacy actually help people eating more vegetables. So that's very, very crucial here. Now, when I talk about healthy diet, I wanted to kind of put in a guardrail. What I like to do for the sake of our conversation today, I kind of want to primarily focus on aiming for a healthy weight or maintaining a healthy weight. When 8 out of 10 people with diabetes are overweight, and also when 8 out of 10 people living with heart diseases are overweight, that is the hinge that swing the big door. So this is what I kind of want to kind of focus the outcome. The secondary outcome is to help people eat this simple way that we're going to talk about in such a way that they have more energy to feel active. It's one thing to tell people eat less and move more, but if they feel blah, if they feel sluggish, they don't feel the energy to do the physical activity, then the recommendation is just a number in their mind. They can't implement it. So they have to feel they have the energy to do that. So that's it. Here it is. This is simple. The way to eat healthy is to follow the 3 cornerstones. Anchor your plate with protein, pair with vegetables, and finish with whole grains. Simple. That's just like that. So today, I like to kind of follow 3 buckets. So the first bucket is I like to kind of peel off a little bit of each of the 3 cornerstones and take you through some of the science and then tease out the highlight from the research that you can use. The second bucket is to kind of see in practice in your patient's living room or lunchroom what it looks like. That's the practical sense of that. That's easy to implement aspect of that. And the third is, if I may, I want to share with you a case study in my practice of the outcome to following the 3 cornerstones of eating healthy. So is that okay with you? The 3 buckets? Ready? Protein is the building block of life, right? The amino acids from protein build our muscle, our bones, our blood, hormones, neurotransmitters, you name it. Protein has been shown by research, particularly from the last 8 to 10 years, growing body of research, to have health benefits. It is part of a healthy diet, obviously, and it also helps people lose weight and maintain weight. But most importantly, lose weight in such a way that they can maintain the lean muscle mass and therefore achieving a better body composition. And by eating a balanced diet with adequate amount of protein, they feel they have the energy. When they feel they have the energy and they feel full throughout the day, it sustains them through the day, and also lower reliance or eat less high sugary and high fat craving food. So my focus of my practice is I help people gain freedom from low energy and stop cravings weight gain. There's a lot of issue there from cravings of high sugary food. But I am kind of, as I said, in the primary outcome, I kind of want to focus on the weight management aspect of that. But in particular, in body composition, right? So we all are familiar with the body mass index, which is taking your weight in kilogram divided by your height in meter twice. But fat loss is of particular interest to reduce cardiovascular risk. Body composition as measured in body fat percentage is a predictor of cardiovascular risk and diabetes risk. So this is of more interest to you and to health providers, is not just to lose weight, but to lose the fat and keep your body a lean muscle, because our body is either adipose tissues or lean muscle mass. When we lose weight, we lose water, we lose better fat, but we lose muscle. So the aim is to maximize the fat loss and then hold on, or at least slow down and reduce the amount of lean muscle mass. But measuring fat percentage, body fat percentage, kind of requires some advanced skill, and may require you to go to the clinic or expensive equipment. So it's kind of hard to do, and there's this variation as well. But what we'd like to measure is the waist circumference, which is right at the belly button, right above the hip bone. So according to guideline, men really should have the waist circumference less than 40%, for women less than 35%. There is adjustment, by the way, for cultural difference. And I think Asian population, as far as I know, have a little lower threshold as well. So higher than 40% for men in waist circumference and higher than 35% for women is one criteria of the 5 criteria of affirming metabolic disorder or metabolic syndrome, which track heart disease quite closely. So, so for example, one research published in 2017 in JAMA finds that people with a higher waist to hip ratio increase the diabetes risk by 77%, because they found out that the adipose tissue, where it's distributed around the waist, around the vital organs, really increase our chronic disease risk. So where does protein fit in? Abundance research have shown that protein, higher amount of protein, along with the, resistance training, is more effective for improving body composition. So resistance training will be working with weights or working with part of your body as weight. So squatting using your upper body as weight, that also counts as resistance training. In fact, the guideline, current guideline is that Americans should have two days of practicing resistance weight training, along with 30 minutes a day of walking and jogging and other cardio. So research, particular ones, those research, body research by Dr. Heather Leidy. I think she's now at University of Pennsylvania. She was from Missouri. A higher protein diet, now here's the number, 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram body weight, help people preserve lean muscle mass during the weight loss therapy. So therefore improving body composition. All right, so you notice that here's the word higher protein, not high protein. So I want to kind of give you a little bit, what does that translate to? So if I take 1.6 grams per kilogram, I need to look at some notes here. For a 150-pound man, 150 pounds divided by 2.2, that is 68 kilogram times 1.6. That's about 109 grams of protein. And that translates to through the day, is about 13 ounces of chicken and turkey and fish or beef. For ladies, 120 pounds, for example, that's divided by 2.2, that's 54 kilogram multiplied by 1.6, that's about 87 grams. So that's a little under 10 ounces. So if you think about 3 ounce through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can get there. So it's actually easier than you think. For example, 2 eggs breakfast, right? And then for lunch, 2 slices of roast beef in a whole grain sandwich. And maybe you can have a slice of cheese. And then for dinner, have 3 ounces of chicken or beef or steak, and with a side salad, you get that amount of protein. So it's easier than you think, but it's all in the mindset, right? So remember, we say anchor with protein. We're not saying filling your plate with protein. We're not saying hanging over the sides of your plate with protein. Now here's a bit more research published in 2012, 1.6 kilogram per kilogram, higher amount of protein, and compared to high carb diet, the higher amount of protein group reduces body fat percentage 50% more than the high carb diet. So here's another example. The next example is very interesting, the Beef WISE study. And the WISE, W-I-S-E, stands for Weight Improvement, Satisfaction, Energy study, because they measure satisfaction, energy, and also the number on the scale as well. So it's a randomized control trial. Both groups follow higher protein approach, but one group eats beef. The other groups eat other type of protein, no beef. So at the end of the trial, both groups lost 17 pounds. And here's the amazing thing, 95% of the weight loss comes from fat loss. Yay! If you are the researcher or you're the provider, you look at that, you say, yay! You're like, boom, 95% fat loss. Only 5% are from lean muscle mass. So you retain your metabolism. That's what gives you the energy. It's very interesting. And if you're interested in that study, email me and I'll send that to you. So let's translate. Remember, I said a lady, 120 pounds, would be about 87 grams of protein. What does that translate to on my dinner plate? So a 3-ounce cooked serving of beef provides about 25 grams of protein. That's what we kind of is the portion size for ladies. For men, I would say about 4 to 6. The reason I'm using my palm is 1 3-ounce piece of beef is about, or chicken or turkey, it's about the size of my palms. It's using a palm is a good way to visually know that that's the right amount. You know, teaching portion size, teaching the 3-ounce portion size, the size of my palm, turns out to be one of the hardest things for me to educate. I get so many eye rolls, particularly from men. What? Just 3 ounce? 3 ounce, if you choose the right protein, gives you a lot of protein and not much calorie, and you don't need to eat that much. But to do is you need to have the variety of lean protein. Think variety. 3 ounces of beef, cooked serving of beef, is a source of excellent or good source of 10 nutrients that our body can readily absorb and use. So interesting in nature, the amount, as you can see on the package or in, on the internet, the number and the amount is important. But what your body can absorb, what your body can digest, what the body can use right away is sometimes it's a different matter. So take beef as an example. Beef is an excellent source of complete high quality protein. What it means is that it provides the protein containing all the essential, there are 9 of those essential amino acids our body cannot make, and you have to take that from food. Beef, 1 serving size of beef provide all the complete amino acid that your body can readily use. Compared to plant protein sometimes with few exceptions are called incomplete protein because they might be missing some essential amino acids or not in the right proportion and the right amount. So, so you can see here in the slide here, it is an excellent source of protein for beef. And iron is an example, is a good source of iron of 14% of the daily value. The iron from beef, our body can absorb 2 to 3 times more effectively than iron from the spinach. Why make our body work so hard, right? So I want to circle back to the protein. 1 serving size of protein gives you 25 grams of protein. 1 serving, 3-ounce serving size of beef gives you 25 grams of protein. Remember when we use an example of 120-pound woman, 87 grams of protein is the overall aim. So 1 palm size of beef already satisfies about 1/3 of that protein need. And also is a source of multiple vitamin Bs, B2, riboflavin, B3, niacin, and B6, and also B12. It provides our body 40% of our daily value of B12, which is very vital for our brain health as well. And 1 serving size of 25 grams of protein, gram for gram protein is relatively very low in calories, only 175 calories per serving of beef. So sometimes much lower than a cup of latte from Starbucks. Now, I know this slide has a lot of lines and graphs, but I just want to point out one thing because I promised you that I'm going to give you some context as to the higher amount of protein, 1.6 kilogram. What does that compare to? Because this is the purpose of this, is to give you the reference, the context. So in this graph, the x-axis as you go from left to right is the increasing amount, right? But I want you to kind of look at the red text in the middle, labeled with the two-ended arrow, where it says acceptable macronutrient range. Because the guideline of protein, current guideline, if you look at the blue text, the lower blue text where it says 0.8 grams per kilogram, right? Much lower than 1.6. 0.8 grams per kilogram is the current recommended amount. Is too low to achieve that health benefits of improved body composition. In fact, the European experts already agree that that's too low. They aim for more towards 1.6 grams per kilogram. So if you look at the arrow in the middle, the guideline also is expressed besides the 0.8, the current guideline by National Academies of Science, also expressed in a range. And the range, you can see that at the end of the red arrow are the two vertical line. That's the low end, that's a high end, that's the range. And that's a recommended range. And it's not labeled in here, but it's from 10% to 35% of your calories. Now, what does that translate to grams? You look at the blue text at the bottom, translate to 0.8 grams, which is the low end, which unfortunately is the lower recommendation, to 3 grams per kilogram. So when you look at the science and the research, looking at the effectiveness of body composition and weight loss or lower craving is higher amount of protein, that's about 1.2 to 1.6 gram, is right there where the dot, where the cross is. So you can see that the high amount of protein is still well within the current recommended range. So I hope this is helpful for you. Hope it's not too confusing. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Well, if I were to ask you, what meal Americans have the most trouble with eating protein, what would be your answer? If you say breakfast, you're right? Remember, toast and a cup of coffee out the door? That's what I'm talking about. And what meal of the day Americans eat almost most of the proteins or all of the proteins? If you answer dinner, you're right? But that's not the best way to approach it. So if I take that example, 120-pound woman, 87 grams of protein, it's better to spread it out through your 3 meals through the day. So aim for 25 to 30 grams, 25 to 30 grams at lunch, 25 to 30 grams at dinner. Because research, particularly by those research coming from the University of Texas, they show that when you have a certain amount of protein, your body responds more optimally in stimulating protein synthesis, in stimulating muscle synthesis in your body. So I guess in layman terms is if you are a toast and cup of coffee out the door, you need to pay attention to increasing protein at your breakfast. And you want to look at your plate, where's my protein? You ask, where's your protein? That is why the first cornerstone is anchor with protein. So here's your first highlight here. Simple tip. This is what I would say to my clients. You can say to your patients, anchor your plate with protein. Aim for a variety of protein through the week. Pay attention to include protein choices at breakfast. It's interesting that research from Dr. Heather Leidy, she actually showed that overweight teenagers, they actually crave far less sugary snacks at night when they have some protein, high amount of protein at breakfast time. So this is the first tip. And if you have comment, type that in, let me know. All right, so let's move on, right? Second, pair with vegetables. Pair with vegetables, we want to aim for a variety of vegetables because the vegetables are a good source of dietary fiber and also multiple vitamin A, vitamin C, folic acid, and potassium for our blood pressure. So fiber is very crucial in helping us maintain digestive health, with exception where some chronic GI conditions, actually during flare-up, you do have to monitor the fiber, but that's not the context we're talking about here. And also dietary fiber help lower cholesterol as well, and also help to build that beautiful gut microbe in your gut. And we're getting to know more and more about how our microbe in our gut can affect our overall health, even weight, and also even mental health and depression as well. And the vitamin A and C support your immune system and help you, the vitamin A help protect yourself from cell damage, from oxidation, and also protect you from infection as well. So lots of important benefits of eating vegetable. Unfortunately, 90% of people, Americans, are not eating enough vegetables, right? So how much? The recommendation guideline is 2.5 cups per day. Think about a cup. It's about the size of fist. So palm size is a serving size of 3 ounces for at least for women, and for men, maybe twice of that palm size. And a cup is a fist size. So you can achieve that 2.5 cups by having maybe a spinach frittata in the morning. When you scramble the egg, throw a fistful of spinach in it, and there's your half cup right there, right? And lunch, maybe you have a small garden salad, that's your 1 cup right there. And a dinner, maybe you have your cauliflower and broccoli, that's 1 cup. Or if you cannot do your half a cup a day, a morning, easier than you think, you can move that towards dinner. You can have a 1 cup at lunch and then 1.5 cup for dinner. So it's really, really accessible. It's all about the mindset. And you want to aim for dark green, like broccoli, like spinach, like kale. A lot of people don't like kale. You don't have to eat kale. Spinach and broccoli, green bell peppers, and red and orange, right? Beets and your red bell peppers, and sweet potato and carrots, easily accessible. So palm size for protein, 1 to 2 cups of vegetables at the dinner plate. Are we doing okay? So this is what it can look like just for the first 2 cornerstones, Pear Protein with vegetables. So those examples on the left-hand side in the slide, the top one looks like a warm stir fry, right? It looks like a 3 ounce size of your palm of, looks like sirloin, top sirloin, and likely seasoned with or without salt. And that's all you need. Likely saute with very little oil, and saute broccoli, cauliflower, and snap peas and carrots. And those are vegetables that are available inexpensively year-round, and that can also stay in your refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. And the lower picture is another warm salad, and looks like it's more of a spring and summer salad with summer squash and spring asparagus, another warm salad. And on the right bottom one, that's a cold salad, slices of tenderloin. By the way, majority of beef cuts that you buy at the market are lean, less than 10 grams of fat, that meet the definition of lean by USDA. Tenderloin is an example with a salad, beautiful plate of salad with pears and raisins and salad green. So that can be a dinner or lunch. And here's your palms, a 3 ounce serving of salmon with the omega-3 on a beautiful bed of vegetables. So you have the vitamin A and the C from the vegetable, and the fiber, and the vitamin and the protein, and the zinc and iron from the proteins. Excuse me, I meant the A and the C from the vegetables. So that's the first 2. So here, recap again. Anchor your plate with protein. Aim for a variety of protein through the week. Pay attention to include protein choices at breakfast. Pair with vegetable. Aim for 1 to 2 cups of dark green or red orange vegetables each meal. So far, right? 1 minute. Doing okay? So this is the first 2 cornerstones. Now let's get to the last one. Finish with whole grains. Finish with whole grains. See, with the whole grains, you can see that the grains, the whole grain, like for example, if I take wheat, it has the bran, the outer covering, and that's where the vitamin Bs and the fiber reside. And then you have a little bit of the germ, that's where some natural fat is. And then you have the endosperm, that's the starch, that's a carbohydrate. You know, with refined carbohydrate, unfortunately, we stripped away all the fiber and the vitamin Bs and just the starch in the white bread and the white pasta. So carbohydrates are our body's ready source of calories, not the only source, but the ready source of calories. So if you look at this picture, if you have whole grain pasta, whole grain bread, brown rice, or other type of whole grain oatmeal, then you have all the benefits that come with that grain, particularly with the fiber and the added vitamin Bs for energy as well, and not to mention folic acid as well. Now, I get my eye rolls again yesterday when I talked to a group of people in my nutrition workshop about whole grain pasta. And they said, pasta shouldn't be brown, pasta should be white. Well, you know, I have my work cut out for me, more work to do. So how much grain? Cup your hand as if you are catching rain. That's half a cup. Half a cup is a serving size. Half a cup is serving size. I get grief too when I talk about half a cup of serving size, but it is, and I tell you what, when you are having your chicken parmesan, if your fork goes to the bed of pasta underneath the piece of chicken, then you will feel that half a cup does not satisfy you. But if your fork goes to the chicken in the chicken parmesan first, and then, and hopefully the salad, and then to the grain, to the pasta, you would find that half a cup will be just right for you. For men, because you have bigger body, taller, maybe 1 cup. So twice a hand. So and when it comes to carbohydrates, mind the portion. The portion is important. So this is bucket 2. Let's put it all together. Let's put it all together. Anchor your plate with protein, pair with variety of vegetables, and finish with whole grains. When you apply this simple 3 cornerstone to eating healthy, you will feel that you have sustained energy through your workday. And you feel that you don't rely on cravings for that pick-me-up, for the quick energy, for the quick emotional comfort, because you feel satisfied, you feel full from the anchor of the protein. And the vitamins from the vegetable kind of perk you up as well. To reduce weight gain from cravings of sugary snacks. And also what I talk about, all the health promoting nutrients. All of these examples here only have less than 300 calories, 300 calories. And again, a Starbucks coffee, designer coffee, costs you $7 and very little nutrients, far more calories than that. So if you look at the top left one, 3-ounce size of a piece of top sirloin, lightly saute, 5 minutes is done, slice that, and then layer that on top of a bed of salad with greens and with a tomato and some whole grain brown rice. That's an example of 3 cornerstones. The bottom one is beef pasta primavera. In fact, this is from the collection of recipes from www.beefiswhatsfordinner.com. It has many collection of recipes. One collection, make sure you go there and check out the recipes, certified recipes by American Heart Association for certified healthy, for being low fat. So this, the bottom one with the pasta is a certified heart healthy recipe by American Heart Association. So 93% lean ground beef sauteed with slices of, that looks like at least 1.5 cups there, of summer squash with whole grain pasta. So easy. And then here's the chicken kebab. If you cut your chicken kebab and grill that into 1 square inch, one kebab, one inch cube, it's roughly about 1 ounce. So if you aim for 3 ounces for ladies, 3 cubes of that, it's already the serving size. And you add your other marinated colorful tomato and red bell pepper, and also green zucchini. You see, these are example. Chili, how cool is that? Very, very easy. Cook one time. In fact, if I were to make the kebab, I will make a lot of them and then take out the skewers and save the rest for a lunch the next day to take it to work. Cook once, eat many times. So that was the 3 cornerstone. Okay. So Mary, let me share with you patient in my practice. Mary is a 42-year-old female. She works full-time. She's overweight when she came into my practice, mother of 3 children. She works in a demanding job where she always feels that she has to prove herself. Frequent alcohol consumption to wind down, to relax, and she complains of low energy, hungry, and frequent evening snacking of ice cream. And then also very, very often feels guilty afterwards. So diagnosis is overweight related to food and nutrition knowledge deficit, as evidenced by cravings of eating sugary ice cream. So we work with her, with Mary, on learning the 3 cornerstones of eating. And also she learned the mindful eating techniques of engaging the senses. And therefore, it was pretty easy for her to really aim for 20-25 grams of protein at each meal. And she also learned meal planning technique based on the 3 cornerstones. And we do not do calorie counting. The outcome is she has better and sustained energy through the day. And she told me she stopped relying on ice cream craving for quick energy. But instead, when she does eat ice cream with her kids, it's one for nourishing her spirit. It's fun for enjoyment. And she reduced her nightly alcohol consumption. She feels she has more energy to begin physical activities. And one day she told me she started doing 7,000 steps. And my secret goal for her was 10,000. But then the next meeting she came back, she feels she has so much more energy. She was actually doing 14,000 steps a day, plus 50 squats or resistance exercise at home. I didn't prescribe the 50 squats or 14,000, but she got to that point because she felt she has more energy. It's just natural. You want to move when you have more energy as well. All right, so you ready for the wrap up? 5-minute conversation. You can go ahead and time it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and time it. All right. Anchor your plate with protein. Aim for a variety of protein through the week. Pay attention to include protein choices at breakfast. Pair with vegetables. Aim for 1 to 2 cups of dark green or red orange vegetables each meal. Finish with whole grains. Mind the portions, 1/2 cup to 1 cup each meal. And exercise 30 minutes a day. That's 28 seconds. Now, let me give you an even briefer version. You can absolutely do it in 1 minute. So you take the first sentence from each of the bullet point. Anchor your plate with protein. Pair with vegetables and finish with whole grains. Aim to exercise 30 minutes a day. That's it. Can you do it? I think you can do it. So remember the portion. Anchor with protein about palm size. Pair with 1 to 2 cups of vegetables and finish with 1/2 cup of whole grains. 3 ounces of protein, 1 to 2 cups of vegetables, and 1/2 cup of grains. So that's it. So we want to, the Beef Checkoff want to support you to have that meaningful and easy and clear and practical evidence-based conversation. So they have created a series of cards, like literally like this, called a 1-minute nutrition conversation series. So they're a topic on how to have more energy, or if you have high cholesterol, what do we eat? Do we have to avoid something? Or how to eat healthy with these 3 cornerstones. And I would love to have you have access to this. So pay attention to the follow-up email after the webinar. We will make that available for you as well. So just, it will be in the follow-up email. One more time, anchor with protein, pair with vegetables, finish with whole grains. Very simple. You can do it. Any questions? I know that you can, I share the email with you, cindy@cindychanphillips.com. You're welcome to send me email with your thoughts, comments, questions, confidential. So I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. And I think we'll try to include my email as well in the follow-up as well. I thank you so much. I am Cindy Chan Phillips, and we just wrap up a conversation on how to talk to your patients about eating healthy when you have 5 minutes or less. Thank you for joining me.